Chosen one. This message is not about romance, comfort, or coincidence. It is about covenant calling and a financial signal heaven has been releasing quietly through your life. There is a reason wealth keeps appearing around your spouse's path, a reason provision seems to follow their steps, even when you did not fully understand why. This is not luck. This is not timing. This is prophecy unfolding through union. Anointed One marriage was never designed by God to be emotional support alone. It was designed as a funding mechanism, a divine channel through which kingdom assignments are resourced, accelerated, and sustained. What you are witnessing in your spouse's financial capacity, whether already visible or forming beneath the surface, is a sign pointing directly to your calling. Heaven is revealing that the assignment on your life is too large to be funded through individual effort. That is why God tied provision to covenant. Chosen one. This is not about chasing money. This is about recognizing a sign. When God intends to fund purpose, He often hides the supply inside relationship. What looks like your spouse's success is actually heaven's preparation for shared impact. What looks like their blessing is a prophetic marker on your future assignment. Stay with this message, Anointed One. Your understanding is about to shift. What God is revealing now will change how you see your marriage, your calling, and the flow of kingdom wealth connected to your life. Chosen one. What you are stepping into right now is not a lesson about money, and it is not a motivational idea meant to make you feel good for a moment. This is a revelation about how heaven funds assignment. There are seasons when God blesses an individual, and there are seasons when God funds a covenant. You are in the second kind of season. What has been unfolding around your spouse is not random progress, not coincidence, not personality, not luck. It is evidence. It is confirmation. It is a prophetic marker that the assignment on your life has reached a scale that requires shared capacity. Anointed One. Many people misunderstand how God moves resources. They think provision always follows effort, talent, or sacrifice. But there comes a point in destiny where effort is no longer the gate. Covenant becomes the gate. When God intends to fund something larger than one person can carry, He ties the supply to union. That is why Scripture speaks of two becoming one, not only in love, but in purpose, authority, and stewardship. Heaven does not release kingdom-level funding into isolated vessels. It releases it into aligned unions that can carry weight without collapsing. You may have noticed this quietly. Maybe you watched doors open for your spouse while your own path felt slower. Maybe you questioned why favor followed their career, their ideas, their timing, while you were still wrestling in prayer. I have been there. I remember seasons where I did everything right, prayed, fasted, stayed faithful, yet the financial breakthrough I expected did not land on my hands. Instead, it landed near me. It landed around me. It landed through someone connected to me. At the time, I didn't understand it. I thought I was being overlooked. In reality, I was being positioned. Chosen one. Heaven often hides provision where pride cannot touch it. If God were to release everything directly to you too early, it could distort the assignment. So He routes it through covenant. He protects you from carrying weight before your inner structure is ready. What looks like delay is actually divine distribution. What looks like your spouse's blessing is God safeguarding the mission tied to your name. This is why comparison has been such a trap in your spirit. The enemy wanted you frustrated, resentful, confused about timing. But the truth is, this God was never bypassing you. He was surrounding you. He was building a financial perimeter around your calling so that when the time came, the assignment would not lack oxygen. Kingdom funding is not about lifestyle upgrade. It is about oxygen for purpose, and purpose suffocates without supply. Anointed One, I need you to hear this clearly. Your spouse's wealth, whether present now or forming quietly beneath the surface, is not about status. It is about access. It is about reach. It is about leverage for what God intends to do through both of you. There are ministries, initiatives, solutions, people and systems that will only move when the covenant moves together. That is why heaven did not release the full picture to you early. You would have tried to carry it alone. I have seen this pattern repeat over and over. Couples who thought one person was the spiritual one and the other was the provider, only to later realize that heaven designed them as a single engine with two functions. One discerns direction, one carries capacity. Together they move territory, apart they struggle. When this clicks, everything changes. You stop striving, you stop explaining, you stop competing with your own union. Chosen One, there is also a reason God has been refining your heart in silence. You could not steward this level of supply with a survival mindset. Kingdom funding comes with pressure, exposure, expectation, and responsibility. Money amplifies what already lives inside. So before heaven trusted the covenant with increase, it worked on humility, discernment, patience, and unity. That refining you felt was not punishment, it was preparation. You may still be in a season where the wealth is visible, but the assignment is not. That is intentional. God never unveils the full mandate at the same time as the provision. If he did, interference would rush in too early. Some things must mature unseen. Just like a seed, underground supply often grows quietly before purpose breaks the surface. This is why you are being taught restraint, wisdom, and spiritual covering right now. Anointed One, I want to speak to the fear that sometimes whispers at night. The fear that money could change things. The fear that pressure could strain the marriage. The fear that responsibility could become too heavy. That fear is not from God. God does not release provision without also releasing grace to carry it. What he funds, he sustains. What he authorizes, he protects. The covenant is not fragile. It is fortified. This is also why unity matters more now than ever. Not agreement on everything, but alignment in spirit. The enemy does not attack wealth first. He attacks harmony. Because if he can fracture unity, the flow stalls. That is why God is calling you to deeper respect, deeper patience, deeper communication in this season. Not because something is wrong, but because something is about to expand. Chosen One, you are not watching your spouse rise while you stand still. You are standing at the threshold of shared elevation. The shift you are sensing is real. Heaven is intervening. Alignment is locking into place. What you thought was separate is merging. What felt delayed is synchronizing. And the funding that is coming is not meant to exalt you, but to enable you. Do not rush this moment. Do not over-spiritualize it or over-explain it. Let understanding settle into your spirit. Let gratitude replace anxiety. Let trust silence comparison. God is not late. God is precise. And what he is preparing to release through covenant will arrive at the exact moment your structure can hold it without breaking. Stay anchored here, Anointed One. Let this truth recalibrate how you see your marriage, your role, and your future. The sign has already been given. The wealth is not the reward, it is the resource. And the assignment it is tied to is closer than you think. Chosen One, there is a reason this revelation is unsettling something deep inside you. It is because it confronts an old assumption you were taught to carry, that provision must always flow through personal struggle. Heaven is undoing that belief now. You are entering a phase where God is not asking you to grind harder, prove more, or carry the full weight alone. He is asking you to recognize the pattern he has already established. The supply tied to your spouse is not an accident of personality or circumstance. It is a signpost placed along your timeline to show you how God intends to move you forward. Anointed one, when God chooses to fund a kingdom assignment, he rarely sends money first. He sends alignment. Money follows structure. Increase follows order. That is why your relationship was shaped the way it was tested, the way it was delayed in certain areas and accelerated in others. Heaven was building a vessel strong enough to hold expansion without fracture. You may not have realized it at the time, but every conversation that taught you patience, every disagreement that forced humility, every quiet season that refined trust was part of the financial architecture God was forming beneath the surface. I remember a season when I thought I was falling behind. Friends were advancing, opportunities seemed to bypass me, and I kept asking God why my effort wasn't translating into visible reward. What I couldn't see then was that God was rerouting my expectation. He was teaching me that capacity often grows beside you before it flows through you. When the breakthrough finally came, it didn't arrive the way I had imagined. It arrived through partnership, timing, and shared vision. Looking back, I understand why it had to be that way. If it had come sooner or directly, it would have overwhelmed me instead of empowering me. Chosen one. This is the same wisdom God is applying to your life. Your spouse's financial momentum is not meant to make you feel small, secondary, or sidelined. It is meant to relieve you of a burden you were never designed to carry alone. Some assignments are too large for a single pipeline. They require multiple streams converging into one flow. That is what covenant creates. That is what marriage activates when it is aligned with purpose. There is also a deeper layer here that many people miss. God often reveals the nature of the assignment through the way provision comes. When supply flows through relationship, it tells you the work ahead will involve people, systems, stewardship, and long-term impact. This is not about a quick win or a personal breakthrough. This is about sustainability. This is about legacy. This is about funding something that outlives applause and survives pressure. Anointed one, if you have ever felt an unusual restraint in how much you could do on your own, that was not limitation, it was instruction. God was preventing you from building something prematurely, something that would later collapse under its own weight. Instead, he was quietly arranging reinforcement. He was teaching you to wait for the right kind of strength, not just more strength. And now that reinforcement is visible, you may notice that as your spouse's capacity grows, your clarity is also sharpening. That is not coincidence. Heaven is synchronizing insight with increase. God never releases resources without also releasing discernment. That is why you are sensing a shift in how you think, how you prioritize, how you see responsibility. You are not becoming greedy. You are becoming aware. Aware that what is coming must be handled differently than what you have known before. Chosen one. This is also why the enemy has tried to sow subtle division, small misunderstandings, unnecessary tension, quiet resentment. He understands something many people do not. If he can disrupt unity, he can delay flow. Not destroy it, but delay it. That is why forgiveness, patience, and honor are not optional in this season. They are protective measures. They keep the channel clear. They keep the covenant intact. Let me be very clear. This message is not saying your spouse exists to fund you. That is a distortion. What God is revealing is that both of you exist to steward something together. The wealth is not owned by one and used by the other. It is entrusted to the covenant. When this understanding locks into place, control dissolves. Fear loosens its grip. Competition dies, and peace replaces pressure. Anointed One, peace is one of the clearest confirmations that alignment is happening. Striving feels loud, alignment feels quiet. If you have noticed a strange calm settling into your spirit lately, even without all the answers, that is heaven signaling that the foundation is set. The movement that follows will not be chaotic. It will be deliberate, measured, directed. There is also a reason God is teaching you restraint around visibility. Not every season of increase is meant to be announced. Some forms of wealth must mature privately before they can withstand public exposure. You are being trained to value stewardship over spectacle, to build quietly before you speak boldly, to let fruit mature before it is displayed. This discipline will protect what God is growing. Chosen One, the assignment connected to this covenant will require wisdom that cannot be learned in books. It will require listening more than speaking, waiting more than reacting, and trusting God more than leaning on instinct. That is why your spiritual sensitivity has been increasing. That is why certain environments no longer feel comfortable. You are being repositioned internally to match what is forming externally. I want you to release the urge to rush clarity. Full understanding is not required for obedience. You do not need the entire blueprint to honor the season you are in. You only need to recognize the sign. And the sign is this: God is shifting how provision flows into your life, because He is shifting the scale of what He plans to do through you. Anointed One, let gratitude anchor you here. Gratitude will keep your heart soft as capacity expands. Gratitude will guard you from entitlement. Gratitude will remind you that this is not earned, but entrusted. When gratitude leads, stewardship follows naturally. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not dependent. You are aligned. Heaven is not rearranging your life randomly. It is constructing something with precision. What you are witnessing through your spouse is only the surface evidence of a deeper orchestration already in motion. Stay present, stay unified, stay surrendered. What God is building through covenant will not strain you the way survival once did. It will carry you. And when the time comes for movement, you will recognize it not by noise, but by peace. There is a moment in every divine assignment when God shifts the question from, "Do you believe?" to "Can you carry?" Chosen One, you are standing in that moment now. Belief got you this far. Faith opened the door. But what comes next requires capacity, restraint, and maturity. That is why heaven has been expanding the covenant before expanding the outcome. The wealth connected to your spouse is not arriving to impress anyone, it is arriving to support weight. Anointed One. Many people pray for increase without realizing that increase demands structure. Without structure, abundance becomes pressure. Without alignment, provision becomes distraction. God is not careless with resources because resources amplify direction. Whatever direction exists in a person or a union will be magnified by wealth. That is why God waits until unity, humility, and clarity are in place before releasing more. You are not being tested for worthiness. You are being trained for stewardship. I want to speak to the subtle grief some of you have carried. The grief of watching something grow near you instead of through you. The grief of feeling like the visible progress belongs to someone else. That grief was real, it mattered, and God saw it. But that grief was never meant to harden into resentment. It was meant to soften into understanding. Because when understanding comes, peace replaces comparison. And when peace arrives, authority follows. Chosen One, authority does not come from control. It comes from alignment. When you stop fighting the way God is moving and start agreeing with it, your spirit settles. That settling is not surrender to loss. It is surrender to design. Heaven is not stripping you of influence. It is redistributing responsibility so that influence does not destroy you. There is a reason God did not reveal this pattern earlier. If he had, you might have tried to force it. You might have leaned on your spouse, prematurely spoken too soon, or built expectations that would have created pressure instead of partnership. Timing protects truth. Revelation delivered too early becomes burden instead of blessing. Now you are ready to see without grasping, to understand without manipulating, to receive without demanding. Anointed One, I want to share something personal. There was a time when I misunderstood God's silence as denial. I assumed that because progress wasn't visible, nothing was happening. But later I realized that God was doing his deepest work in the unseen layers, aligning people, stabilizing character, correcting motives I didn't even know I had. When the provision finally surfaced, it didn't feel overwhelming. It felt familiar, like something I had been prepared for without knowing it. That is what is happening to you now. The familiarity you feel with responsibility is not accidental. You are being acclimated to weight. Just like altitude training strengthens the body before ascent, these quiet seasons have been strengthening your spirit before expansion. So when the doors open wider, you will not panic. You will move with clarity. Chosen One. This is also why discernment is becoming more important than enthusiasm. Not every opportunity that appears during an increase season is meant to be pursued. Some doors open as distractions, others open as tests. Wealth draws attention, and attention draws influence. Influence must be guarded carefully. That is why God is sharpening your intuition and slowing your reactions. Speed is not the goal, precision is. You may notice that your prayers are changing. They are less frantic, less desperate, more focused. That shift is evidence that you are no longer praying from lack, but from alignment. When prayer changes, perspective changes. And when perspective changes, decisions change. This is how God prepares someone to handle more without losing themselves. Anointed One, hear this clearly. The covenant you are part of is not fragile. It has been forged through trials, misunderstandings, delays, and quiet endurance. Those experiences did not weaken it. They strengthened it. What survives pressure is what God builds upon. That is why you are still standing. That is why your relationship did not break under seasons that would have destroyed something less anchored. There is also a generational layer to this assignment. Some of what God is funding through your union is not for you alone. It is meant to interrupt cycles of lack, instability, fear, and survival. You are not just stepping into provision, you are stepping into a different narrative. One where money serves purpose instead of ruling it. One where stability replaces chaos. One where generosity flows without performance. Chosen One, this is why humility must remain central. Pride does not always look loud. Sometimes it looks like self-reliance. Sometimes it looks like refusing help. Sometimes it looks like insisting on carrying what God designed to be shared. Humility in this season means honoring the way God moves, even when it challenges old definitions of strength. Anointed One. The enemy would love to twist this revelation into confusion or control. Do not let that happen. This is not about hierarchy in the relationship. It is about harmony. Heaven is not elevating one and silencing the other. It is tuning both to the same frequency. When that frequency locks in, movement becomes effortless. Pay attention to the peace that follows agreement. When you internally agree with God's design, anxiety loses its grip. When you stop resisting the flow, fatigue lifts. That relief is confirmation. God's will does not crush, it carries. God's provision does not enslave, it liberates. Chosen one, you are being invited into a new way of seeing responsibility, not as pressure, but as privilege, not as burden, but as trust. Heaven does not entrust resources to prove its power. It entrusts resources to expand impact. You are not being funded to feel important. You are being funded to be effective. Let your heart remain teachable. Let your spirit remain soft. Let gratitude remain loud, even when increase becomes normal. The greatest danger in abundance is forgetfulness. Not forgetting God, but forgetting why He provided in the first place. Anchor yourself now while things are still forming, and you will remain steady when things accelerate. This season is not about rushing forward. It is about rooting deeper. What grows shallow collapses quickly. What grows deep lasts. Heaven is choosing lasting fruit over fast applause. And you, chosen one, are being prepared to carry something that will not fade when seasons change. Stay grounded. Stay aligned, stay aware. What is unfolding through covenant is not random, and it is not fragile. It has been built carefully, patiently, intentionally. And as it continues to take shape, you will find that the weight you once feared now rests easily on you because God trained you to carry it long before you knew what it was. Chosen one. There is a point where stewardship becomes the true test of calling, not prayer, not belief, not even obedience, stewardship. What you do after provision begins to form reveals whether the assignment can continue to expand. That is why God has been slowing you down internally, even while acceleration is happening externally. He is teaching you how to hold what is coming without letting it change who you are. Anointed one. Many people fail not when money is absent, but when it arrives without structure. Wealth exposes cracks that pressure could not. It reveals motives, insecurities, and unspoken agreements within a covenant. That is why God has been working on alignment in your marriage before releasing greater flow. He is not trying to bless you and then fix the fallout. He is fixing the foundation so the blessing can remain. You may have noticed that conversations between you and your spouse are shifting. Topics that once felt distant are now closer. Decisions feel heavier, more intentional. That is not tension. That is awareness. Awareness is the doorway to wise stewardship. When responsibility increases, God sharpens perception so nothing is handled casually. Casual hands drop sacred things. Chosen one. This is also why God has been calling you into discretion. Not secrecy driven by fear, but wisdom driven by timing. Not every increase is meant to be explained. Not every door is meant to be announced. Some phases of provision are incubated in quiet, so they can mature without interference. There are seasons where silence is protection, not isolation. If you feel less inclined to speak publicly about what is forming, honor that instinct. Heaven is shielding what is still growing. Anointed one. I want to speak to the pressure that sometimes surfaces unexpectedly. The pressure to do something big now that resources are visible. The pressure to prove that the increase is being used well. That pressure is not from God. God does not rush purpose. He establishes it. Anything built from pressure will eventually demand more pressure to survive. Anything built from peace will stand when pressure comes. I learned this the hard way. There was a time when I thought momentum meant action. I moved too quickly, invested emotionally and practically before clarity had fully settled. The result was exhaustion, confusion, and unnecessary loss. God was faithful to restore, but He also taught me something priceless. Movement without alignment drains what provision was meant to sustain. Since then, I have learned to wait for peace, not excitement. Peace is the green light of heaven. Chosen one. Peace does not mean passivity. It means direction without anxiety. It means progress without striving. If you feel a quiet confidence replacing urgency, that is maturity taking root. Heaven is training you to recognize when to move and when to hold. Both are acts of obedience. There is also a responsibility to guard unity as capacity grows. Money does not create division, it exposes unresolved patterns. That is why God is inviting you and your spouse into deeper honesty and mutual honor. Not control, not suspicion, honor. When honor leads, trust strengthens. When trust strengthens, flow remains uninterrupted. Anointed one, do not be afraid of the conversations that feel uncomfortable but necessary. Those conversations are not threats to the covenant, they are reinforcements. God uses communication to fortify partnership. Avoidance weakens alignment. Gentle truth strengthens it. Speak with humility, listen with patience, and assume goodwill. The covenant you are in is not fragile, it is being refined. You may also notice that your sense of responsibility toward others is increasing. Not obligation, but awareness. You are seeing needs differently. You are sensing impact beyond personal comfort. That is evidence that the assignment tied to this provision is outward-facing. God does not fund isolation. He funds influence. Influence does not always look like visibility. Sometimes it looks like quiet support, strategic generosity, or unseen empowerment. Chosen one generosity in this season must be guided, not impulsive. Compassion is holy, but discernment protects sustainability. You are not meant to respond emotionally to every need. You are meant to steward wisely so that the flow remains long-term. Saying no at times is not a lack of love. It is a commitment to longevity. Anointed one. There will be moments when the weight feels real, when responsibility presses in and you wonder if you are equipped. In those moments, remember this: God never assigns without supplying grace to carry the assignment. You are not doing this alone. The same God who orchestrated the covenant is overseeing the flow. He is not distant, he is attentive. This is why prayer in this season becomes less about asking and more about listening, less about requests and more about alignment. Your prayers are becoming quieter because your spirit is learning to rest in trust. That rest is not laziness, it is confidence in divine oversight. God is not waiting for you to figure everything out. He is inviting you to stay responsive. Chosen one. One of the greatest dangers in increase is forgetting the lessons learned in scarcity. Scarcity taught you empathy, humility, and dependence. Those lessons are not meant to be discarded. They are meant to inform how you steward abundance. The goal is not to escape struggle and forget it. The goal is to rise without losing compassion. Anointed one. This is also why God is teaching you boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They allow what aligns to enter and keep what distracts at bay. As capacity grows, so must discernment around access to your time, your energy, your attention. You cannot carry expansion and chaos at the same time. You are entering a phase where saying yes to God may require saying no to good things. Not sinful things, good things, but good things that dilute focus. Heaven is narrowing your lane not to limit you, but to accelerate you. Precision always outpaces diffusion. Chosen one, let your identity remain anchored in who you are, not in what you steward. Money is a tool, not a mirror. It reveals character, but it does not define it. If you remain grounded in purpose, provision will never control you. It will serve you. The shift happening now is not loud, but it is decisive. Heaven is establishing rhythm, not spectacle. Structure, not noise. Depth, not display. And as you continue to walk with humility, unity, and discernment, you will find that what once felt heavy now feels manageable because you are no longer carrying it in your own strength. Remain attentive, remain teachable, remain aligned. The season you are in is not about proving anything. It is about protecting what God has entrusted to you so it can continue to grow without distortion. And as you do, you will discover that stewardship itself becomes a form of worship, quiet, faithful, and deeply powerful. Chosen one, there comes a sacred moment when heaven stops preparing you for the blessing and begins preparing the blessing for you. That moment is marked not by noise, but by readiness. You are entering a phase where what God has been building quietly now requires conscious partnership. Not striving, not forcing. Partnership. This is where supernatural provision shifts from concept into stewardship, lived out day by day. Anointed one. Many people imagine divine funding as a sudden overflow that removes responsibility. In reality, kingdom funding increases responsibility while removing fear. Fear kept you small. Responsibility will expand you. God is not handing you comfort. He is entrusting you with capacity. Capacity to decide wisely. Capacity to say no when needed. Capacity to think generationally instead of emotionally. This is why your mindset has been changing. You are no longer satisfied with surface answers. You are questioning motives, your own and others. You are weighing outcomes before acting. That is not hesitation. That is discernment awakening. When discernment awakens, impulse loses authority. And when impulse loses authority, waste disappears. Chosen one. One of the clearest signs that heaven is backing a wealth shift is this: you begin to feel accountable to God in a deeper way, not just grateful. Gratitude says, "Thank you for what you gave." Accountability says, "Teach me how you want this used." That internal shift is evidence that you are moving from receiver to steward, from beneficiary to gatekeeper. I remember a season when I realized that God was no longer responding to emotional prayers. He was responding to aligned prayers. When I prayed from panic, nothing moved. When I prayed from surrender, doors opened quietly. That taught me something vital. Heaven responds to posture more than language. And your posture is changing now. Anointed one. This is also why some desires are falling away. Things you once wanted badly no longer carry the same pull. That is not loss. That is refinement. God is removing appetites that would distract you from assignment. What He leaves behind will not compete with purpose. It will support it. You may notice that God is also teaching you patience in execution. Just because resources are present does not mean action is immediate. Some investments must wait. Some decisions must ripen. Timing is not about delay. It is about alignment with unseen factors God sees clearly. Acting too early can be as costly as acting too late. Wisdom lives in the space between urgency and obedience. Chosen one. There is also a call to humility in how you carry authority. As provision increases, people may listen more closely. Your words may carry greater weight. Influence may expand without effort. This is where restraint becomes protection. Influence should never outpace integrity. Integrity is what allows influence to remain pure. Anointed one. Be careful not to confuse confidence with entitlement. Confidence comes from knowing God is involved. Entitlement comes from forgetting that everything is entrusted. Confidence keeps you grounded. Entitlement isolates you. Heaven withdraws from entitlement but strengthens confidence. Stay anchored in dependence even as independence grows. There will be moments when you are tempted to measure progress by visible results. Resist that urge. Kingdom impact often grows underground before it breaks the surface. Roots form before fruit appears. If you rush fruit without roots, collapse follows. God is more invested in permanence than in speed. Chosen one, you are also being trained to recognize divine alignment in people. Not everyone who wants access should receive it. Not everyone who celebrates you is assigned to you. Discernment will help you distinguish between those who are meant to walk with you and those who are meant to witness from a distance. Both have a place, but only one belongs in the inner circle. Anointed one, protecting your inner circle is not arrogance, it is stewardship. Access carries influence, and influence shapes direction. Be intentional about who speaks into your decisions. Counsel is valuable, but too many voices create confusion. God often speaks most clearly in stillness. This season will require you to trust subtle guidance. Not everything will come with dramatic confirmation. Sometimes peace is the confirmation. Sometimes hesitation is the warning. Learn to honor those signals. The Holy Spirit often leads through gentle restraint rather than forceful push. Chosen one. You may also feel a growing sense of responsibility toward the future. Thoughts about sustainability, legacy, and long-term impact are surfacing. That is because heaven is widening your perspective. You are being invited to think beyond immediate gratification and into lasting transformation. This is how kingdom funding differs from worldly wealth. Worldly wealth asks, "What can I get?" Kingdom wealth asks, "What can this build?" Anointed one, do not underestimate the power of consistency in this season. Faithfulness in small decisions will protect you in large ones. Habits formed now will shape how you handle greater flow later. God often watches how we steward what feels ordinary before trusting us with what feels extraordinary. There will be days when nothing dramatic seems to happen. Do not misinterpret quiet as stagnation. Quiet is often the sound of alignment holding steady. Growth does not always feel exciting. Sometimes it feels stable. Stability is not boring to God. It is precious. Chosen one. You are being called to remain soft while becoming strong. Soft in heart, strong in boundaries, soft in compassion, strong in conviction. That balance is rare, and that is why God has taken time to cultivate it in you. Strength without softness becomes harsh. Softness without strength becomes vulnerable. God is forming both in you. Anointed one, remember this as you move forward. Provision is not the destination. Purpose is. Money is not the measure. Obedience is. When you keep those priorities clear, you will not lose your way even as your path widens. Heaven is not rushing you because heaven is not uncertain. What has been authorized will unfold at the right pace. Your role is not to accelerate the process, but to remain aligned within it. Alignment is what keeps flow uninterrupted. Stay present, stay faithful, stay surrendered. What you are walking into is not fragile, and it does not require force. It requires trust. And trust, once established, becomes the foundation upon which everything else stands. Chosen one. There is a sacred stillness that comes just before alignment becomes visible. It is not emptiness, it is completion. You are standing in a moment where heaven has finished arranging what needed to be set in place behind the scenes. The anxiety that once pushed you to hurry is loosening its grip because the foundation is now secure. What remains is not striving, but trust. Not effort, but obedience that flows naturally from alignment. Anointed one. This is the season where God asks you to rest without disconnecting. Rest does not mean disengagement. It means operating without panic. It means moving from certainty instead of fear. For a long time, your faith was proven by endurance. Now it will be proven by restraint. Heaven is watching not how fast you move, but how well you listen. There is a reason your spirit feels fuller even before outcomes change dramatically. That fullness is not emotion, it is assurance. Assurance comes when the soul recognizes that God is involved at a level beyond human interference. You are no longer trying to make something happen. You are cooperating with what is already unfolding. That shift alone is evidence of elevation. Chosen one. Many people never reach this stage because they confuse surrender with passivity. But surrender is active trust. It is choosing alignment over control. It is releasing the need to predict every step and allowing God to govern the sequence. You are learning to move when prompted and remain still when instructed. That discernment will protect everything connected to your assignment. Anointed one, the wealth tied to your covenant will not arrive as chaos. It will arrive as clarity. When God funds a calling, He also funds wisdom. You will know where to direct resources. You will sense when to wait. You will recognize what aligns and what distracts. This clarity is not learned. It is imparted through relationship with God. There will be moments when the old voice of doubt tries to resurface. It may whisper that you are unqualified, unprepared, or too ordinary to carry something significant. That voice is not new. It is simply unfamiliar with the version of you that has been formed. You are no longer who you were when the journey began. Heaven has reshaped you quietly, patiently, intentionally. Chosen one. Remember how far you have come without losing your integrity. Remember the seasons you survived without becoming bitter. Remember the restraint you practiced when reacting would have been easier. Those moments were not forgotten, they were recorded. God does not entrust influence to people who cannot remain anchored when unseen. You have proven steady. Anointed one. This is also a season of affirmation, not from people, but from peace. Peace that confirms you are in the right place at the right time. Peace that does not need constant reassurance. Peace that remains even when circumstances fluctuate. That peace is the signature of divine alignment. As provision increases, so will your responsibility to remain spiritually grounded. Do not neglect stillness. Do not rush past reflection. God will continue to speak, not always with new instructions, but with reminders of who you are and why you were chosen. Identity must remain stronger than opportunity. Chosen one. You are not being elevated to escape struggle. You are being elevated to steward influence. Influence changes environments. Influence shapes futures. Influence requires humility to remain pure. You are being entrusted because you have learned to submit your desires to God's will. That submission is what qualifies you. Anointed one. There is nothing fragile about what God is building through your covenant. It has been tested by time pressure and patience. What remains is strong. What remains can endure growth. The expansion ahead will not dismantle what you have built. It will reveal it. You may soon notice that others respond differently to you, not because you demand it, but because authority carries presence. That presence does not need explanation. It is felt. Let it remain quiet. Authority does not announce itself. It settles into rooms naturally. Chosen one, do not rush to define the outcome. Allow God to exceed your imagination. The assignment tied to this provision may unfold in ways you did not anticipate. Stay open. Stay flexible. God's plans often surpass our expectations because they are not limited by our perspective. Anointed one, as this season matures, remember that success is not measured by accumulation, but by alignment. Wealth that flows without alignment becomes weight. Wealth that flows through alignment becomes fuel. God is giving you fuel, not burden. You are stepping into a rhythm where obedience feels lighter because resistance has ended, where decisions feel clearer because fear has loosened its grip, where trust replaces tension. This is not accidental. It is the fruit of surrender. Chosen one, let gratitude remain your anchor. Gratitude will keep your heart soft when responsibility grows. Gratitude will remind you that everything you steward is a gift, not a possession. Gratitude will protect you from forgetting who sustained you before provision was visible. Anointed one, the journey ahead will not always be easy, but it will be guided. You will not be alone even when decisions feel weighty. God is not distant from the details of your life. He is involved in the timing, the connections, and the outcomes. Remain faithful in what seems small. Remain obedient in what feels unclear. Remain humble in what begins to expand. These are the disciplines that preserve favor. Chosen one, what you are walking into is not a reward for perfection. It is a response to surrender. Heaven responds to those who release control and choose trust. You have done that even when it cost you comfort. Now stand steady, not because everything is finished, but because everything essential is in place. The foundation has been laid, the covenant has been aligned, the provision has been authorized. Move forward with peace. Carry responsibility with humility. Steward influence with wisdom. And trust that the God who began this work will remain faithful to complete it in His perfect timing. Chosen one, as this word settles into your spirit, know that nothing you have heard was accidental. Heaven has spoken with precision, and what was revealed today is already active in the unseen. You are not waiting for a shift, you are standing inside it. The covenant around your life has been marked, the supply has been authorized, and the flow of kingdom funding is already in motion. Anointed one, this is your Kairos moment. Not a future hope, not a distant promise, but a divinely appointed now. What God has joined together, no delay can separate. What He has chosen to fund, no resistance can cancel. Walk forward with reverence, with humility, and with quiet confidence, knowing that heaven backs what it births. May peace guard your heart, wisdom guide your steps, and unity protect the covenant entrusted to you. Remain faithful in alignment, patient in process, and grateful in expectation. What is forming will manifest at the right time, in the right way, for the right purpose. If this word resonated with your spirit, receive it with gratitude. You may quietly affirm it in the comments or share where you are standing from your city, your place of calling. And if you feel led, remain connected here so we continue walking in alignment with what heaven is releasing. Go in peace, chosen one. The transfer is underway.